Join our community by subscribing. Every click helps us share more stories like this one. The introduction. On a chilly autumn evening in the small town of Maplewood, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the surrounding hills. Streetlights flickered to life, illuminating the cobblestone pathways that wound through the town's heart. Beneath an old oak tree, a tattered flyer flapped gently in the wind. It read, "Missing Sarah Mills, 21. Last seen October 12th. The quiet buzz of evening events was interrupted by whispers and side glances, the air thick with tension. In a town that had always been defined by its safety, the disappearance of one of their own was unsettling. Sarah was known for her infectious laughter, her close-knit circle of friends, and her strong determination to carve her own path after graduating college a few months prior. But now, all that remained was uncertainty. The police had launched a thorough investigation, but as days turned into weeks, hope began to wane. Sarah's friends plastered the town with posters and organized search parties, combing through wooded areas where she once played as a child. Well-meaning locals rallied, yet the search seemed relentless against an ever-deepening fog of despair. As the autumn leaves began to blanket the ground, it marked not just the change in seasons, but the unraveling of a community, an emotional landscape transformed by the weight of unanswered questions. Who could vanish into thin air in a town where everyone knew each other's names? Somewhere within the picturesque streets lay truth, entwined with silence. The victim, Sarah Mills, was an ordinary young woman with extraordinary aspirations. Born and raised in Maplewood, she spent her childhood dreaming not of fairy tales, but of becoming a journalist, driven by a sense of curiosity and a knack for storytelling. Her bedroom walls were plastered with clippings from the Maplewood Gazette articles she had penned during her high school years, showcasing the town's life through her perceptive lens. In her early 20s, Sarah was bright, ambitious, and full of life qualities that beckoned respect and admiration from those who knew her. While attending university in a nearby city, she juggled her studies with internships and late-night shifts at a coffee shop, all while cultivating an ever-expanding network and honing her craft. Her friends often joked that she was going to be the next big thing in the media world. But when she returned home for a brief visit in October, Sarah began to feel the weight of small-town life pressing down on her. The familiar streets and faces that once brought comfort now felt stifling. There was an impulsive drive within her, a yearning for something beyond the predictable routine that Maplewood offered. Nights were spent at local hangouts, sipping coffee while discussing existential dreams with her closest friends. Yet a shadow lurked, an unshakable feeling that she was being drawn back into the folds of the life she was trying to leave behind. That haunting sense of restlessness would be overshadowed by tragedy. The life that held so much promise vanished in an instant, leaving behind an echo of who she was and who she could have become, her laughter now fading into whispers of what if. Crime scene. As police officers arrived at the location described by concerned witnesses, the atmosphere was heavy with tension and confusion. It was a small park on the outskirts of town, a favorite spot for families and joggers. But on this day, it stood still and hauntingly quiet. The autumnal breeze rustled the branches, but it did little to ease the unease settling over the scene. Carved benches painted with chipped green paint framed the open green space, and in the distance, the sound of distant laughter from a group of children felt painfully out of place. Investigators cordoned off the area with bright yellow tape, their expressions serious and focused. The sun cast long shadows, while teams began methodically searching the surroundings, gathering any potential evidence to piece together the puzzle of Sarah's disappearance. Among the fallen leaves and underbrush, a sense of dread permeated the air. Flashlights cut through the dimness, revealing nothing but the whispers of the wind. As they sifted through the terrain, police dogs began to work feverishly, their noses to the ground, searching for a scent that could lead them to answers. It was during this process that they uncovered a scattered collection of personal belongings, a small yellow notebook with crumpled edges and a single pink hair tie. While these items sent a flicker of hope to the investigators, they also painted a grim picture of a struggle clues that could suggest Sarah had been here, and specifically that she hadn't departed willingly. The innocent park, once viewed as a safe haven, now morphed into a chilling reminder of vulnerability, casting a long shadow not just over Sarah's case, but over the town where shadows now lingered more heavily than ever before. The early investigation. In the wake of Sarah's disappearance, the Maplewood Police Department sprang into action, rallying resources and intensifying efforts to uncover any leads. Detective Emily Hart, a seasoned investigator with a penchant for detail, was assigned the case. Having worked numerous high-profile cases before, she knew the unwritten rule. The first 48 hours were crucial. As she scrutinized the evidence gathered from the park, Emily began her interviews with Sarah's friends and family. Each conversation unearthed fragments of Sarah's life, revealing a determined woman with boundless dreams, but also underlying struggles. Friends painted a picture of a bright young woman who, despite her optimism, felt confined by small-town expectations. One friend recalled a conversation just days before her disappearance, where Sarah confided her frustrations about being tethered to a life she had outgrown. While canvassing the neighborhood, Emily noted the intersection of stories that revealed a town divided. Some residents supported the search efforts fervently, while others cast doubt, perhaps reflecting their own insecurities rather than any truths about Sarah. Rumors swirled around the community like autumn leaves, with wild theories emerging about where Sarah might be, some saying she had run away, others suggesting foul play. Yet amid speculation, Detective Hart remained grounded. She focused on the physical evidence collected. The notebook containing snippets of thoughts and fragments of poetry, a glimpse into Sarah's mind that hinted at her restlessness and emotional turmoil. While meticulous notes were crafted and leads followed, the pressing question loomed over Maplewood. Would they find Sarah alive? Or was the town about to learn the darker truths that lay beneath its facade of safety? The dead ends. Weeks passed since Sarah had last been seen, and the vibrant leaf colors that once decorated the trees now dulled as frost crept over Maplewood. Yet, the investigation felt stagnant, leaving an unsettling void that mirrored the chilling weather. Detective Hart and her team followed every promising lead, but time and time again, they hit dead ends that drained the community's hope. One lead brought them to a local diner, where a truck driver claimed to have seen a woman resembling Sarah walking along the highway on the night of her disappearance. Investigators tracked down the truck driver, but found that he had been mistaken. The diner owner offered little more than a half-hearted recollection of seeing Sarah with a group of friends days earlier. A disappointing encounter, yet it highlighted a waning spark of hope. Another tip led them to an abandoned farmhouse situated at the edge of town unknown spot, where teens often hung out. As police scoured the property, the creaking floorboards and shattered windows echoed a haunting silence that seemed to mock their efforts. Yet, despite its eerie allure, nothing was found to indicate Sarah had been there. Emily felt the weight of the investigation pressing down heavily. The once bustling streets of Maplewood were now filled with whispers, and her every conversation with Sarah's family echoed with desperation. They clung to rumors, each promising lead morphing into further disappointment. While she pressed on, the community began to fracture. Questions circulated in hushed tones. Why hadn't Sarah returned? Had they missed something crucial? With each passing day, the fear of facing the truth stung like the autumn chill, as uncertainties overshadowed every hopeful glance exchanged among residents. With few answers, the town itself became a riddle wrapped in sorrow. A break in the case. In the midst of despair, a glimmer of hope emerged on a chilly December morning. Detective Hart received a call from a local resident who had been cleaning out their garage and stumbled upon an object wrapped in old newspaper. The resident claimed it resembled a personal item associated with Sarah, and Emily's heart raced as she envisioned a potential breakthrough. Arriving at the corner house, the resident nervously led Hart to a cluttered workspace, where she uncovered a small, scratched cell phone, buried underneath boxes. Its screen cracked but undamaged enough to power on. With trepidation, she fished it out, and for the first time in weeks, the detectives felt a pulse of excitement. Could this be the key to unraveling Sarah's fate? Back at the station, the forensic team went to work extracting data from the device. As the hours passed, hope morphed into anxiety. Questions whirled in Emily's mind. Would it reveal a message, a contact, or a location? Finally, a breakthrough came. Files containing text messages from Sarah's phone poured onto the screen, revealing exchanges with friends from the very days leading to her disappearance. One message stood out: an appointment to meet someone important in the park the night she vanished. The user was saved only as "Listen," a contact that was foreign to both friends and family. The implications settled uneasily on Hart as she pieced together stories once thought to be unrelated. Was this someone Sarah had confided in? Or was it a dangerous encounter? The investigation regained momentum as the detectives delved deeper into Sarah's last known interaction. Emily realized that the budding tension within the town, the whispers, the doubts had begun to materialize into something far more terrifying, pulling the community back into the depths of uncertainty. The question was poised: had they finally uncovered a connection? Or were they about to open up a Pandora's box? The suspect. With the chilling discovery of the cell phone and the cryptic contact named "Listen," Detective Hart turned her focus to finding this mysterious individual. She filed a request for a trace on the unknown number, a flicker of dread sparking within her. The hours crawled by, leaving her anxious as she reviewed previous transcripts and notes, evaluating every connection and potential link. The breakthrough came unexpectedly, as a tech analyst in the forensics department rang to confirm they had identified the number. "Listen" belonged to a man named Daniel Tate, a local recluse known to have a problematic history, particularly with stalking and harassment charges filed years prior. While he had managed to evade serious consequences, the shadow of his reputation loomed large over the investigation. Emily wasted no time digging into Daniel's background. He lived alone in a dilapidated house on the fringes of Maplewood. Once an aspiring artist, he had gained notoriety for his unsettling pieces, frequently focused on themes of isolation and obsession, seeking rapt attention through provocative imagery. Friends of Sarah's described their unease when they spotted him lingering near the park on the nights prior to her disappearance. With a sense of urgency, the detective drove to Daniel's residence. The house loomed menacingly, its paint peeling and windows shrouded in grime. As Emily and her team approached, they noticed an overwhelming stillness around the property, a silence that felt suffocating. In that moment, it became clear this man might hold the key to understanding not just Sarah's fate, but also the fears that had enveloped the town in darkness. Yet a sense of trepidation nested within. Would they find answers at the heart of the storm, or even more chilling questions? As she knocked on the door, Emily steeled herself for whatever lay beyond, aware that the fragile threads connecting Sarah to this troubled soul could unravel the very fabric of Maplewood. The trial. As winter deepened its grip on Maplewood, the echoes of Sarah's disappearance morphed into a somber yet determined tension surrounding the courtroom. The arrest of Daniel Tate had ignited both relief and outrage within the community, the specter of fear lingering like frost on the ground. The prosecution built a case meticulously, piecing together evidence that hinted at Daniel's obsession with Sarah. Dark tapestry, interpreted through the lens of text message exchanges, disturbing artwork and unsettling behaviors that had spiraled uncontrollably. Newspapers flooded the town with sensational headlines, each attempt to capture a story that went deeper than mere facts. On the first day of the trial, a chilly air hung heavy in the courtroom, enveloping those gathered in a sense of grim expectation. The jurors, a mix of familiar faces from Maplewood, appeared solemn and resolutely aware of the weight that pressed down upon their deliberation. Witness testimony unfolded, a heart-wrenching procession of friends and family sharing memories of Sarah's vibrant spirit, punctuated by the chilling reminders of a life stolen too soon. As Emily listened to their accounts, she felt a renewed determination flooding within her, amplifying the longing for justice. Yet the defense employed a carefully crafted strategy, painting Daniel as someone persecuted rather than a predatory force. Statements asserting his mental instability and lack of significant evidence seemed to create fractures within the prosecution's stronghold. In the final days, as the jury deliberated, the town was once more ablaze with opinions and fear. Tension crackled in the air, leading to heated discussions in the diner, whispered exchanges on sidewalks, and simmering rumors reshaping the community's collective consciousness. In a moment, the town teetered on the precipice of revelation. The verdict would not only dictate Daniel's fate, but also define how the stories of Sarah, the victims, and the guilty could coexist in the memories of every Maplewood resident. As the jury returned, the courtroom fell silent, hearts held high with hope yet battered by the reality of uncertainty. The aftermath. The verdict echoed throughout Maplewood, reverberating in corners of the town previously untouched by such discord. Daniel Tate was found guilty of kidnapping, sentencing him to a prolonged prison term. However, the bitter truth loomed large: the body of Sarah Mills was still missing, leaving the community wrestling with an ambiguous sense of justice. The reality weighed heavily in the hearts of her family, whose grief morphed alongside the case's unfolding relief mingled with sorrow. A bittersweet cycle they could hardly comprehend. In the weeks following the trial, the conversations about Sarah morphed into communal rituals of remembrance. The Parc Conseil, place of childhood nostalgia where Sarah had played, was transformed into a memorial adorned with flowers, candles, and messages telling her story. People from all walks of life gathered to share their memories, some recounting laughter filled with shared moments, while others grappled with tears as they sought to support each other in their profound loss. Emily Hart found herself deeply affected by the case, unable to shake the lingering shadows of frustration and helplessness. She returned to the park frequently, feeling an aching sense of responsibility was here, that the friction between community and fear had manifested. Slowly, she pieced together a plan, proposing community programs aimed at safety awareness, engaging young people in active discussions about relationships, consent, and awareness. As winter released its grip and the first hints of spring returned, the voices surrounding Sarah's case morphed into whispers of advocacy. A scholarship was established in her name for journalism students, ensuring that aspiring writers could chase their dreams, honoring the fire that flickered within Sarah. In a profound way, the echoes of grief rippled through Maplewood, shaping a community more resolute, though undeniably scarred. But despite the initiatives, the question of what truly happened to Sarah remained hauntingly unanswered. The many discussions might yield a support framework, yet her family endured the weight of an unresolved riddle. As flowers blossomed anew in the park, the lingering mystery cast a long shadow over Maplewood, reminding them all that moments banished from their view can hide darkness, waiting to emerge again. Reflection. As spring enveloped Maplewood in a gentle embrace of warmth and life, a profound transformation echoed within the community. The conversations that once spiraled into speculation had settled into a deeper contemplation, collective reflection on the values of safety, vigilance, and compassion. The haunting memory of Sarah Mills lingered like an ethereal shadow over the town, prompting residents to reconnect with each other and to delve into the nuances of friendship and trust. Emily Hart often found herself walking through the park, now vibrant with activity, children playing mock games beneath the trees. I'm knowing mock games and friends, yet beneath the surface, she carried the burden of unsolved mysteries that haunted her dreams. The lingering question of what truly happened that fateful night. The sorrow for Sarah transformed into resolve, and it spurred a commitment to ensure no one else would ever feel abandoned by their community. As a mosaic of memorials began to fill the park, each piece reflecting a story or an Emashante symbol of unity grew stronger. Community events flourished, aimed at vigilance and safety in relationships, building bridges between generations, ensuring that the lessons learned would ripple forward. Emily felt grateful for this shared journey, highlighting that while darkness had once touched their lives, it also birthed an indomitable spirit that bound them together. In the end, the story of Sarah wasn't only one of loss. It was a testament to the resilience of a community facing fear and vulnerability, weaving a legacy that would inspire change, healing, and a renewed sense of hope for the future.